Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Marianne Hickman Show. This week's episode is all starring Cynthia Zak. Now, I met Cynthia almost 10 years ago. I actually met her by reading one of her children's books that she had written in Spanish, all about personal development and mindfulness for kids. I had no idea that it went so deep, and her history is so colorful with where she grew up and traveling the world and learned from the twirling dervish dancers. There's so much culture embodied inside this woman, and she is bent on a mission to bring families together through music and healing. Check it out. How are you doing?
So happy to see you.
Oh,
You're
it's so wonderful to
rocking.
see
You're
you.
rocking. You're rocking.
What have you been up to?
A lot of things. I'm writing books and creating more music and launching a new system for kids that is different than I was doing before. It's more into the sound. It's a school of sound for
Oh,
kids.
wow.
So I'm teaching kids all ages how to play high vibrational instruments, the crystals and the gongs and the flutes. And so, yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I follow you all over Instagram since the day we met. I've just been so inspired by what you're doing and the books that you've written and all that you're doing for the kids. So thank you for coming on the show.
No, thank you for the invitation. And I really, I follow you and I follow your new life. Baby, the baby, so sweet.
He's so precious. Our nanny actually just took him to the zoo, so he's not in the middle of the studio today.
Totally. But I always follow you. You're such an inspiration for me. I remember everything that I learned with you. I remember everything.
Oh, well, and you've taught me so much too.
And it's beautiful. I've been working with Layla here and there in the school, helping them with the mindfulness too.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, yes, because they have a new teacher, and I was like training the teacher for 8 weeks, uh,
Wow.
kind of in situ. I mean, it's different, like the theory and being in the place with the kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially when you're working with kids.
Yeah, so it's a whole different thing. So that's what I'm doing. And like, yeah, I'm launching a new book in November and a lot of things. Yes.
Oh, so okay, tell me about the new book.
Oh, it's called The Pleasure of Sleeping Alone.
Really?
Yes. And it's a book with 66 or 67 rituals for women. My the investigation, the research is about the benefits for a woman to sleep alone at least once a week, kind of a
Really?
spiritual retreat to go in deep with lucid dreams and desires and the manifestation of the subconscious mind in a more clear way. So I did a whole research about the history of the bed, the history of the twin, queen, and king bed. Where is this coming from?
What?
Yes, it's fascinating. And
Yeah.
in what moment in history, the couples start sleeping in the same bed, not in the same bedroom, in the same bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of I
When-
Live Lucy, two twin beds, and then merging
Yes.
into one.
And then it's related with the Industrial Revolution and the needs for women to match a male cycle of,
Really?
and it's not our cycle. We need a different timings. But the proposal of the Industrial Revolution was like, okay, let's put everybody together. Everybody's going out to work. Women are working also in the industry and the everywhere. So they have to wake up at the same time. So let's put these beds together and let's make these females waking up at a male time on a male circadian cycle, which is completely different.
Whoa. Okay. So I've never heard this before because I'm one person. I love sharing a bed with my husband, right? Like I love
Yes,
sleeping together and
yes,
I mean, everything
yes,
that that means, of course. And I love like waking up and cuddling in the morning. And
yes.
I do find that we do get up at different times. Most often, naturally, I get up with the sun. right?
Yes.
So when the sun
Yeah.
comes in, I've got north facing windows. When the sun comes in the summertime, I'm up at like 5. In the
Yeah.
winter time, because I'm in Utah, I'm up at like 7.
Yeah.
It's a different time. And he usually wakes up about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes behind me, unless he's waking up early on purpose for something else. Is this what you're talking about, or do I have it backwards?
No, that's perfect. And also, if you start tracking your cycle, your menstrual cycle, you'll see then you have different needs 4 times a month. In 4 periods of 1 month, you have different needs and hormonal uh, fluctuations that males doesn't have.
Yeah.
But because we are disconnected with this information on purpose, they made us like disconnect. It's like, okay, let's sleep together every night, waking up same time, and having the performance of a male in a way without me knowing, wait a minute, I'm in my luteal cycle, I'm in my ovulation, I have different needs and my energy is different. So the book is about that and has 9 chapters about how to produce a spiritual retreat, or like kind of like a retreat once a week. So once a week you can sleep alone, and use the time to start tracking what's happened with your energy, your fluids, your desire, your sexual desire, your sensuality, everything. And it's
Wow.
yeah, and it's a very fun book. And I got an incredible publisher in US called Inner Traditions.
Uh-huh.
They publish all type of this kind of more esoteric books. So we're launching in Spanish in November, and we have a launch in an English version, which is amazing. So the pleasure of sleeping alone, and I'm not promoting any divorce. I'm promoting, okay, just try once a week, twice a month. Sleep alone, see what happened. And then the book has a lot of information about how to produce. So how many times per night your REM cycle it's more active, when to wake up, produce your lucid dream, your desire, your intention, go back to sleep.
Really?
And then you are aware that you're sleeping and you're dreaming, and then that's when the magic happens, because you are aware of, okay, oh wait, I'm inside of a dream, I'm dreaming, I can control this.
I love that realization. When that happens on accident, that's my
Yes.
favorite, because I'm like, "Oh, I can fly. I can do
Yes.
whatever I want. This is
Yes.
great." In fact, I used to set my alarm when I was a little kid. I would set my alarm for 2 AM
Okay,
and wake up
great.
for, like, a minute, maybe,
Yes.
just so that I could enjoy the next 4 hours of sleep. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna wake up and I can go back to bed," and I wanted that feeling so bad.
And this is, you say, you've been having this kind of like intuitive knowledge about that. Now put the alarm 2 hours before your regular time.
Uh-huh,
Wake up for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and go back to sleep. And this is the last 2 hours is the most more like active in lucid dreams. And then you start mounting them in a like information for your life.
uh-huh.
You can change everything. You can transform everything. You can ask for anything, and you start having like a lot of insights.
I've never thought of this as like a tool. I've kind of done this just,
Uh,
like you said, intuitively, not regularly by any means, but I've experimented with it. So to hear that there's a science behind that, that's
oh
wild.
yes. Yeah, there's a huge science. And like with all these things, Marianne, it's coming from the East
Mhm.
5,000 years ago. The yoga nidra, yoga for sleep, Tibetan yoga for dream, they know, they already knew. And then the system and matrix control us,
Mhm.
especially women. So I have a lot of fun rituals, but one of the rituals is create your throne. and put a throne next to your bed so you can sit before going to bed. You sit on your throne like a queen,
Hmm.
and you can be super creative with your throne and put like crystals and flowers and whatever you want. You create your throne, and then you start setting up a different energy before going to sleep. You create an energy with your pillows, with your pajamas, with your sheets. Everything is a transformation. It's magic, psycho
Wow.
magic. Yeah, it's a fun book.
So I have to wait until November for the Spanish version, learn Spanish, or when is the English version coming out?
April 2025.
Oh, okay. Well,
But you know
maybe.
already. This is this is what I've been working with that, and the book looks amazing, and it's for a lot of like also social media like kind of questions and having people engage on the conversation. And I have kind of 50-50 women that said I only sleep with my partner, and
Uh-huh.
maybe 60-70 that says I'm happy when my partner is away traveling, or I like to sleep alone, or I'm building a new house with 2 bedrooms where I
Wow.
can spend part of the night with my lover, and then
Yeah.
I sleep alone,
Wow.
and
Oh,
there's
that is
no,
wild.
yeah, because the other person has also his dreams and fluids and movements and smell. There's a lot there that is interchanging with
Mhm.
us all the time, which is beautiful. And at the same time, it's like, wait a minute, what happened if I go by myself in a retreat?
Yeah, yeah. I have found this happens accidentally sometimes, and I'll ask this one question, then I wanna get to how you're talking about this on your stages. Um, I will sometimes fall asleep by myself, not
Mm,
on purpose, just on accident,
yes,
and I'll be out on the couch, and it is a different experience. I can't judge it to be better or worse because I always
yes,
wanna sleep with my partner, but it is different. In fact, especially when I was pregnant, just for comfort reasons,
mm,
I would go
yes,
out and sleep on the couch, and sometimes I go sleep on the couch again just because it's like I just I don't know. I get up in the middle of the night like 3 a.m. and I finish the night on the couch. I don't even know what it is. We didn't get in a fight or anything. It was just
yes,
like
yes.
okay, so I'm very curious to read this book. I'm very curious to understand the science of it and understand and become more conscious of that. So, you know me, there's digital stages just like this one. There's physical stages. I've seen you on both. How are you? Are you talking about this on stage right now, or is this in kind of pre-release? Are you more like in your world working with children and their instruments? What are you doing right now?
Well, it's a mix. It's a mix. And I believe at that point of my life that everything is the same and everything is connected.
Mm-hmm.
So the talking on stage and the writing of this new book is so related with families and children that I've been working for 30 years, developing all this music and all this content and all these trainings. And now I feel that we need to go beyond. We need to
Yeah.
move beyond, and that imply family. It's very very like crucial for me, and nobody's talking to families. There's no classes for families. There's a lot for children, there's a
Mm-hmm.
million things for adults, million things for women, but what about the families
Wow.
where all ages are together, and there's no kind of, this is for little ones and for older ones. We are one. We are one. So that's what I'm doing, developing more and more programs for families. And I'm developing a new program now with an amazing partnership with an amazing place here in South Florida, where I'm going to start curating facilitators or offers. I like to call these offerings for families. So every Sunday, you're going to have a different offer, like how to do a flower mandala, how to create a flower crown, how to play high vibrational instruments, yoga, breathing, meditation, dancing, movement, fun, how to play like a kid with your kid. So that's what I'm doing on stage. And also talking about this kind of awareness. Like, wait a minute, this is my body is so powerful. My life is so unique. And encourage the community on that. And I call this shift to shine.
Mm.
So this is beautiful. We need to shift to shine, Marianne. How we do that together.
So you are the second person I've interfaced with who is catering specifically to family dynamics together. I need to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Scott Donnell. I
Love
just had him on the show a few weeks ago, and he was on Tony Robbins' stage recently talking about family finances and
it.
doing money together as a family. He's actually developed this whole app for it, and it's parents and kids, like you said, working together. Nobody's left out, understanding the economy, understanding home economy, understanding community starting within the home.
Mm.
Oh man, he's not based in Florida, but I bet you like there's some synergies. If I made an introduction, gosh, that would be so cool to see.
Yeah, and you know what? I want him on my program definitely to have families coming and learning
Yeah.
and sharing. So money is a big issue. What to say to the kids, how to share, how much truth I'm going to say to my kids. Uh, it's always a mystery surrounding money. It
Mhm.
happens to my life on my upbringing. It was always like a mystery. Do I have with maybe we don't have. We have to share a Coke in a restaurant, but then we're going on vacation. So it's like so confusing,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
unclear, and create so much trauma. And like with the money, with the relationships, with everything, like how to open a shift to shine in a community setting. Because if I teach beautiful things to kids and the parents are drinking coffee, picking up the kids, they don't know. They don't know what the kids learn. And or if I teaching wonderful things to the parents and the kids are with the babysitter, we are in the same, like it's not happening. So that's what I'm doing, and that's the stage. And also I'm doing a lot of like offerings to women, adults, like circles cacao. I'm working on a new line of cacao.
Oh, wow.
Cacao is a heart opener.
Yeah.
And I'm launching a line called Cacao de Madre. It's my own
Oh.
brand. And I'm working with different cacao producers
Uh-huh.
with the goal to open a cacao bar eventually. That doesn't exist, a cacao bar. Like
Well,
in
in Utah,
Starbucks.
there's one, but the only reason it exists is because they're afraid of coffee, and so they just do it's not a true cacao bar. Yours would
Yeah.
be very, like, high
Oh, yeah, yeah.
level.
Yeah. Ceremonial cacao, but it's all the same. Why we drink cacao, why we play these instruments. I want this, like the crystal bowls or the gongs.
Uh-huh.
I'm teaching young kids, very young. Last Saturday, I have a 1.5-year-old playing the gong, babies. And it's like you feel the feelings and what happened when these vibrations, frequencies start appearing and you produce it.
Yeah.
So it's all related. So the cacao is a heart opener. The synchronicity between heart and brain should happen more and more, like coherence,
Mhm.
heart brain coherence. We need to create this communal shift to shine, very clear, like, and even physically, I'm gonna move like you are on a stage so much, like, okay, people, stand up on a chair and just step to the right,
Uh-huh.
visualizing that you are shifting to shine. And then, oh, wow, let's shift to shine.
So I love what you're creating. I've been a big fan of it since the day we met. I want for especially for those people that are listening to hear your backstory because you were not born and raised here in the US. This is something that you're clearly passionate about because you've gone through what this healed. You know, this
Mhm.
this is a modality that you have adopted and you're speaking with integrity because you use it. Take us back in time before you got on stages, before you created programs, before you were writing books. Tell us your origin story.
I'm Argentinian. I was born in Cordoba. Cordoba is in the middle of the country. Um, and I grew up in a Jewish family, but not religious and no, like really practicing the rituals and the religion and the festivities. So I was kind of in a gray zone, always wondering. I had this kind of like hole in my heart.
Wow.
And it was so clear since I'm very, very young. I have this yearning. There is more than this. Must be more. There's more. I know there's more. So I start, first of all, biggest teachers, the books. So it's very easy. You have books, so I start reading. I read everything. I was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and then reading a lot, everything. But a lot of metaphysics and science fiction and labs. But I still have this hole here until I was 16 and I went to the movie theater by chance. It was a military government in Argentina. So it was very like a dictatorship.
Mhm.
It was scary. I was growing up in this times of history, but I stepped into the movie theater with my boyfriend at that time. We just sit down and then my life changed completely. The movie is called Meeting with Remarkable Men,
Hmm.
and tells a story of like a spiritual teacher that goes from Russia through Afghanistan. And in Afghanistan, he meets the Sufism, the dervishes, the one that
Oh,
twirls.
yes. Okay, I've seen those in documentaries that I watched recently. They're beautiful.
So his name is George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. So I watched this movie, Meeting with Remarkable Men. It's a Peter Brook movie. It's an English movie, English director. And I was like, stepped out of the movie and said, "Hmm, where are they?" I was 16. Where are these people? I need to find them.
Oh, and you're not speaking specifically about the Russians and the dancers.
No,
Who are you
yet
looking
and
for?
no. Yeah, the music. I was playing music my whole life. I'm a musician. I play flutes my whole life. So in the movie, there's one flute called the ney. It's a Turkish flute. So I said, oh, the flute and the story and the dervishes. And then Gurdjieff is trained in the monastery in Afghanistan, and he's sent to Paris, and he opens a school in the 40s, 1940, 1930, 40s. And then it's a school of mindfulness. Mr. Gurdjieff, you can Google him. He has incredible music. He was also a musician, a pianist, and he created a system based on observation and movement where your right side is always doing one movement and your left a different one. And the movement gets really, really sophisticated and complicated, and your attention is full time on your movements. So you start creating sacred geometry with
Yes.
your body. So I started searching for them. I found them here and there, bits of them. Remember the dictatorship. So it was like not so easy, but I started reading about Mr. Gurdjieff. And I get into in college, I choose to be a journalist because I said, oh, I want to learn more and I want to travel. So I went to college, in college for that.
I had no idea that you were a
I am a
journalist. How
journalist.
amazing.
I am a journalist and I'm still doing. I launched a newspaper here for immigrants, and I'm still working for a media in Argentina as a correspondent for the last 30 years.
No
Uh,
way.
but you know what? Everything is connected.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
think every time I'm with people teaching and on stages, everything that you learn in life is has value. Don't dismiss anything. You never know. Don't dismiss anything. Learn as much as possible. Polish your things as
Mhm.
much as possible. You never know, Marianne. And everything is connected. Because okay, journalists with the crystal gongs or the crystal uh bowls. Yes, because it's communication. And
I
it's
love that you hit that, and I wanna ask you this question, especially about full body communication.
mm,
I'm working with a speaker right now who's training with me, and part of his presentation is the word incantation. Now,
mm,
this word, I got goosebumps just saying it. There's a movie that just came out, Encanto, which
yeah,
is the same root word, so it's gaining popularity. But this word incantation was usually reserved for the witches and the
yes.
spellcasters and all this. Can you break that down for me? Because the way that he describes incantation is communication using your voice and your body. What is your perspective on that? Because you seem to know a lot about it.
I love the word. I love this because when you produce this to yourself, you start like really growing your electromagnetic field, especially your heart.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah. You know, the heart has more field than your brain. You know, the heart is the brain, and I'm working on that a lot also on the heart brain coherence synchronicity, like to create this balance between heart and brain waves
Uh-huh.
through breathing and what you think and through incantation. And I love what he said about the whole body is connected, because it's like, okay, when I create this enchantment about myself, what are the other people see of myself?
Mhm.
And when you're on a stage, I think for me, this is the most crucial thing. Or what are they thinking? Are they liking me? Are they enjoying my presentation? Are they enjoying my class? I I start uh, wondering. Yesterday, I did a birthday party for 16 women. She's one of my clients. I go to her kids. I have a kids class with few families, and she said, "Come and do my birthday." And it was 16 women, and she said, "I want the sound bath and the flower mandala." And what they were like laying down, and while I was playing, this voice start happening. Are they liking? Are they bored? How long? Da 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 da. The enemy, you
Uh-huh.
know, the enemy, the perturbation, the like. Um, so if we at that moment bring this incantation, it's like, okay, go away. I don't need you right now.
Yeah. I love the way you did that with your body just now. It was like this you
Yes,
cast a
and I
shield up.
yes, and you know what? This is very interesting from like the Kundalini yoga. Use these kriyas. All the kriyas is a combination of a mantra or repetition and a movement.
Mhm.
And they use a lot like celestial communication. Start doing your celestial communication. Start cleaning your past BS, things that you
Uh-huh.
don't need. Start cutting bad thoughts. So
Mhm.
they move to to create the incantation. So I see that when I allow this incantation, everything stop. I enjoy the whatever I'm doing, and I can see the enjoyment on others too.
Mhm.
And I stop worrying about if they like me, Or one move, maybe she's bored, maybe she's not comfortable, maybe I'm getting like too loud, too long. Incantation. It's
Mm.
beautiful. And that's happened a lot in dreams too, where you have this kind of unreal things coming from another like realm, another world, another uh possibility. So I really like that, the incantation part, and the body is so powerful.
So you were in Argentina. When did you come to the US and start taking the stage here? What tell us that part of the story.
Well, first I moved to Europe. I finished my career, my journalism career, and I moved. I was very young. I was 21. I moved to Spain. I moved to Madrid because I have friends already. I've been there, coming back and forth. So I moved to live, to see if I'm whatever, if I'm going to find a job as a journalist. And I ended up doing million things. But I meet a teacher there. Um, he was, I don't know, I lost contact with him, but he teach me the tarot reading for 2 years. He teach me how to read the cards
Wow.
and elements. He was coming from the jungle in Bolivia. So these 2 years I was learning and learning the tarot reading with him. Um, and then the stage start opening because I was practicing yoga, working in a million things like a waiter, nanny, you name it, everything, like a 21-year-old in Europe with no papers. And I was learning the tarot, reading cards, and uh, I keep looking for these Gurdjieff people. I was like, okay, where are they? I need the groups. I met here and there people. And what this is crazy. One of my side jobs was in an agency, in a modeling agency that works with extras for movies. So they send me at 6 a.m. as an extra for a movie, and the actor, Terence Stamp, the actor of the Gurdjieff movie, was the main actor there.
Oh, no kidding. So the movie that you saw back in Argentina with your boyfriend, the actor was there.
In the shooting in Madrid, where they sent me the agency. So I was like, wait a minute, this is Terence Stamp.
What are the chances?
He was shooting a film in Madrid. He's still alive, Terence Stamp. He's a gorgeous actor. Maybe he's on his 80s now. But he was the main character in the Gurdjieff movie. So I was like, wait a minute, I need to talk to you. So for all these signs, I always tell the people, be open to signs, like ask questions and ask for a sign. It's everywhere. In a little stickers in the car in front of you, on a paper on the street, open a magazine and you have the information, open a book and you have one word. So I saw this man there. I spent the whole day talking to him. There was no sales, there was no social media, no pictures at that time.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, this is true. It's a confirmation of my yearning and my search. I'm searching for that. I know this is true. So I started searching for more groups. I was already teaching some classes of yoga and the tarot. And then I met my husband. He was my husband for 30 years. He's not my husband anymore, but he was my husband for 30 years. He was in Madrid and he wanted to leave also Europe. And we jumped to the States. We sell everything. I was 24, 25 at that time. And we moved to California, to Monterey Bay,
Oh,
Pebble
I know right where
Beach.
that is. A friend from there. Yeah.
Pebble Beach because his grandfather was living there. His grandfather disappeared for 30 years, remarried, and moved to Pebble Beach. So he said, "Okay, let's spend some time with me, my missing action grandfather."
Yeah, your long lost grandfather, okay.
Yes. So we spent a couple of months in Pebble Beach. We bought a car in LA, a 1965 Cadillac. We stay in Monterey, then we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. We lived for almost 2 years in Phoenix. So beautiful. Ah, the desert.
Yeah,
It's
it's you would fit that it seems like you're the type of person who is blossoming in the desert.
so beautiful.
Oh,
So
especially near Sedona. Oh, it's gorgeous.
ah, it's gorgeous. But then it was 1991, 92, and then the TV, Spanish TV was booming in Miami. I have a lot of contacts and friends. I said, look, let's go to Miami because I can find a job very easy on TV for television, like Univision and Telemundo. There's
Mhm,
two main like uh TV channels that were
mhm.
in the beginning at that time. So we moved to Miami and we found the Gurdjieff group in Miami
Oh,
uh, with incredible teachers. And I was involved with them. And then I moved to a Spanish group. And from the Spanish group, one of the members invited me to meet a teacher that is a Sufi teacher. And the Sufi teacher was bringing the dervishes, the twirling
in Miami,
in Miami
from the winter wasteland of Russia to Miami, and you followed them all over the world.
because it's the call of my heart.
Yeah.
So I started practicing with them. Besides doing my yoga, I'm very serious with my yoga. I was pregnant with my first child, Marlon. Marlon is 30 years old now. So I was pregnant with Marlon. I was reading tarot cards to people over the phone.
Because the internet wasn't a thing, there were no Zoom calls.
No, but they hire me from this sites. They hire me over the phone. They let you read for 20 minutes and they cut the call, and you have one customer after the other reading tarot cards on the
Wow.
phone. But the old time phone, the one that
With the
call
cord, yeah.
a card.
A lot of
And
people don't know what we're talking about.
I know, I know. Well, the court phone, and I was reading the cards, and I was pregnant with Marlon, and it's all the stage, it's like, okay, go out and you don't see the person, you see the cards, and they're telling you a lot.
Yeah.
It's very, very good, and it's this call. And at the same time, we were going to the groups, to the Gurdjieff groups, to do the meditations, the practices, and the Gurdjieff work implies always like physical work on soil. On you have to plant stuff
Mhm.
and cut trees and work with your hands on soil. So we were doing all of that, and then I moved to this Spanish group, and I was pregnant with my second child, Allegra, that she's 28 now, and I had these two young kids, and I was doing a lot of like working as a journalist at freelance journalism, going to the groups, practicing. I meet the teacher, the main teacher that is in Switzerland, the Sufi teacher.
Uh-huh.
So we start traveling to meet them, and I was traveling to Turkey to train with the dervishes. And I've been doing this for 30 years. And that's a little bit of the thing. And always kids were connected with me. I always do things with children and the music. And I create a newspaper for immigrants in Miami in 2001 before the Twin Towers.
Uh-huh.
It was May 2001. September was the towers. And everybody said, oh, this is going to go, this is the worst time in history. And I said, no, let's do it. People needs this information. Call el paracaidista, the parachutist. People that jump,
Uh-huh. The parachutes, yeah.
but they don't know anything. They don't have papers. They don't know how to rent a car, how to buy groceries, how to put your kids in school, nothing. So the newspaper it was having all this information.
Wow.
So I said, look, I have two young kids. Instead of going to work for a TV channel that I'm going to be a slave, let's do us like entrepreneur. And I launched with my business partner at that time, a friend. We launched this newspaper that we ran for 10 years
Wow.
while I was raising my two kids, Marlon and Allegra. And at one point after a yoga class, I sit down and I saw clear happiness. And I asked myself, how can I sustain this happiness? I don't want this happiness to happen eh, like this. I'm so free and like happy. I don't want this to finish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how can I share this with others?
Yeah. Yeah. Sustainably.
Yes. So I don't want this happiness only for myself. So I said, I'm going to go into the yoga teacher training and start looking for the teacher. And I always look for the genuine. That's why I love you so much. I like your teachings so much, Marianne. Few times we've been in Miami together, and I was in Utah with you and Chris. It was fantastic seeing you. Like, it's genuine. That you practicing what you're preaching. You practicing. It's not like you read a book, you took 2 hours course, and then you are no. Uh-uh. No. So I was looking for the yoga teacher like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want the disciples, I don't want the commercial things. So I wait for the right teacher to show up, and he was just returning from India, and I did my teacher training. And my first client, because I was pregnant with Satya at that time.
Oh,
Satya
wow.
is he's gonna be 17. So it was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I was pregnant with Satya, and I was finishing the newspaper stage of my life of like situation. And I went to my first client from the newspaper. I said, look, I'm going to go full time into kids yoga. And she said, go upstairs, talk to my daughter. She's opening a program with the Children Trust, federal government money. Who,
Wow.
who can think about that? So I went to talk to Jeanette. She's my friend till now. And the federal government, through grants, has so much money for programs for inner city kids. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's my dream. So I was pregnant with Satya, 4 months pregnant, doing my teacher training. I started going to schools to teach yoga for kids.
Wow.
Overtown and Hialeah. So Overtown is the African American population. I was very like hard and violent at the time. And I was like, oh my God, so beautiful. And I was teaching young kids. And then Hialeah is the Cuban population that doesn't speak English. They are totally like isolated there. So I was going to Hialeah and Overtown for
Mm.
years. And I brought my flute, the flute that's like with me since day one, the flute that brought me to Gurdjieff. And I said, do, 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 do. And I see like, oh, wait a minute. This is it. I don't need to talk.
Because
It's the
music
sound.
is universal. It can be understood in any language.
It's the sound, vibration. So I start playing for them, and I say, oh, this is it. Nobody do live music in a yoga class for kids. So I start bringing more instruments, and then becoming a big thing. And then I started searching for music, and I was not able to find, especially in Spanish. And I said, well, if there is no music, we have to create it.
Yeah, you found a hole. You found a hole in the market.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I called my friend, my best friend in Argentina since like birth Claudia. I said, Claudia, I want to put together a few songs. I have like the lyrics and music. She's a musician, she's a professional singer. And we started working on Skype. There was 2000 and Satya was born in 2007, maybe 2009, 2010. And then we create the whole thing. And I traveled to Argentina to meet the musicians, to
So
meet the singers.
you're now back. This whole travel throughout the world, you're back home in Argentina.
And then I started producing the music for kids. And we ended up having 7 albums now
Wow.
on all platforms, English, Spanish. And then the same with the books. I started writing the books because I said there's nothing for teachers, there's nothing for families on how to teach breathing techniques to kids. Like you have to do it fun, you have to do it light, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
I put together a few books, and that's the story. Um, and it's always, I think the stage is always there, Marianne. It doesn't have to be like a stage with 2,000 people watching you. The stage is there. Today I wanted to switch my car. I have a lease. And I go into the dealer, and there's a very young boy taking care of my case. How old are you? And he's 21. And he's the most kind and wonderful. And I feel the enchantment of the situation and how lucky we are to find each other. And he helped me so much. And he's like all this myth about they want to take your money, rob you, they're bad people, the dealers. I was like, no, this is our stage.
Yes. Oh, I love that you said that because there's so many people that rob themselves of the experience because they don't think it's a stage. That boy was on stage with you giving a presentation. You're on stage every time you publish a newspaper. You're on stage every time you're on the news station, of course. You're on stage right now. You've been on stage ever since, I mean, before you left Argentina, and it has become what I love about your story is that everything was possible, all of the movement around the world, all of the people that you met, all of the relationships was possible because of the amount of clarity that you had, and it's exceedingly rare for a 16-year-old to be that clear, that determined, and that focused, that brings them all over the world, interfacing with people of all dialects and cultures, getting married, having kids, and still to this day, not just in pursuit, although you're the kind of person that never stops learning, but now you talked about it. You've reached this point where my cup is so full that now it's overflowing. I don't want to be happy just for me anymore. I'm so full that it's time to share.
Yes.
And I love that that's where you are. Where are you going in the next year? What do you see yourself doing? What's the big goal for you?
Oh, I want this book, The Pleasure of Sleeping Alone, El Placer de Dormir Sola. That is this book that is coming up. I want this book to be really successful, really, really, really successful. I'm like working on this energy, you know, the manifestation of that. I want the School of Sound to be able to have the right funds. I'm looking for an angel investor or a nice grant for me to be able to bring this again to Overtown and Hialeah, to
Oh,
kids that doesn't have access to this music, to these instruments. I did a class with a foundation like a month ago. She works on girls only. Um, and I brought all these crystal sound bowls and the drums and the flutes and the gongs. And I was like, this is divine. This is medicine. This is medicine.
it truly is.
And I want this to happen also to be able to spread this, also to bring this to Latin America. And with the right fundings to do it is so beautiful, is so doable. And also I'm picturing my cacao bar, Cacao de Madre bar, And I'm very clear of the vision they have for the cacao bar. Like it's going to be also a training place, a cacao table, a taste table, a circle cacao events.
Oh,
And yeah, that's what I see. And especially this growing of the School of Sound into this, I told you this, I'm curating this program that we want to start in September. That is also, there's a farm that is going to be
oh,
involved
wow.
at least once a month, where you bring your kid.
You
There's
read my mind. That's what I wanna do.
Yeah, and you bring your kid. There's different things every Sunday, 1 hour. And your kid's going to be with all ages. It's not like for 3 to 5 and 9 to 10 is opens to all, because we need to learn from each other. That's the beauty of like a Montessori system, that you have kids of like still in diapers with kids that are reading and writing perfectly, and they're in the same classroom.
But that's what I love about what you have built. That's what I love about what Layla's building as well,
Oh
is
yes.
this beautiful ecosystem. Well, let me ask you this, Cynthia, before we wrap up, is there any way that people can find you if they want to be part of what you're building and they're not in Miami? How do people find you? How do they support you? How do they learn from you?
Well, the social media that I'm using most is Cynthia Zak official. That's the Instagram. I'm building. Hopefully, in few weeks, the website is going to be up and running. Just to click and find more information. But the Instagram is a really good way. Cynthia Zak official. You send me messages. I'm super open to travel with the School of Sound also. Like, okay, let's do it in different cities, and do like also training teachers, educators on that, on the breathing, on the mindfulness, and also the yoga for kids.
Mm.
It's all related. So that's the best way to find me. And remember that the stage is there. This life is a stage. This world is a stage, and we're interacting constantly, and it's like so beautiful.
Cynthia, thank you for blessing my life. Thank you for being on the show. I hope everyone gets just, I'm going to put your Instagram in the description so people can go find you, interact with you. I know that there's some people that are going to want to call you up and have you travel and come do sound baths. I
Yes.
would love to have you do that for a retreat that I haven't even
Oh,
planned yet. So you're good.
yes.
First on my list. And there's some people I need to introduce you to as well, because I see some magic happening
Wow.
here. But thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your light, your wisdom, your special, beautiful shine. It's good to connect with you, girl.
Yeah, for you. Thank you for the invitation, and I love you and admire you. I told you it's like you. I learned so much from you in person. It's fantastic. If you have the chance to be in person with Marianne, please don't miss it. But also on the social media, watching your videos on your car where you driving and talking is fascinating. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, we'll see you, friends, next time on the Marianne Hickman Show. Man, I hope you liked this episode as much as I did. Now, I've got kids that play the piano. That's really important in our family. I've also got kids that have adopted other musical instruments. But the simple idea of harmonizing together, playing music together, even if it's just banging the drums or the pretend drums like we have in my son's bedroom, creating music together, it's such a universal language. And what a way for families to come together and communicate. I can't wait to have Cynthia's book come out. I'm going to be reading it as soon as it comes out in English. I hope you pick it up too. Also, if you want to get on podcasts, if you know it's time for you to take either the digital or the physical stage, get on more shows. I've got a podcast database for you. It's free access. It's got 500 shows that need guests and also 500 guests that need shows in case you own your own show. Go to mariannehickman.com/database and I'll send it right over.